All right, welcome to Beyond the Fundamentals. Here we are. I have Shaun and Genevieve with me. My daughter and my son, Genevieve and Shaun. So, oh yeah, spoiler alert. We are going to be discussing it. Come in a little bit. Try to center up on the frame. We are going to be discussing the movie Inside Out 2. If you do not want spoilers, you may not want to watch this video. It's not really the kind of movie to me that has spoilers, if you will. Maybe it does. I don't know.
It does a lot.
Okay, if you haven't seen it yet, or if you just want a spoiler, then this is the place to be.
So we're not here to spoil it, but we want to talk about some of the aspects and feedback that we have from watching the movie. So you remember what we did Sunday? What did we do Sunday?
Sunday on Mission?
That Sunday, yeah, that one.
We watched Inside Out 2.
What did we do first?
We watched Inside Out 1 first.
Okay, so we watched Inside Out 1 first, earlier in the day. Then we went to dinner. And then so for the first one, how long had it been since you had seen that one?
Yesterday.
Maybe.
Before that?
Maybe like a year. I don't know.
A year?
It's been a long
So let me ask you this. Did it hit you differently yesterday than it did when you saw it previously?
Yes, because I was kind of, whenever I'm young, I don't really pay attention to really how it's working and then when I watch it for the second time and I actually pay attention to it, it just feels different because then I know what's actually happening.
You know what's actually happening? Can you double click on that a little bit? Thank you. That's all I wanted. Can you expound on that a little bit? Like, what do you mean what's actually happening?
Like what the plot is. Whenever I was like a kid or something, I was like, or younger, I am a kid, but when I was younger, I'm like, oh, joy and sadness gets lost. Rejoined with other emotions. Happy ending.
Okay, so it's more about just the story and entertainment.
Yeah.
So it brings up a point for me.
But then when I'm like older, I understand that what's happening is joy. Joy does not like sadness. Okay, wait, one comment. Have you ever wondered what the mind is in the emotion's mind?
I have. Like in the movie?
Like, spoiler again, when Joy says, you know how hard it is to be happy all the time? And
Yeah.
Her emotions in her brain,
right.
Her emotions in her brain is the dominant emotion is joy, but the rest is kind of just holding back, and that's what makes joy. And she kind of just...
She's a unilateral dimensional emotion. Only one emotion.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the other ones, although she did cry at some point.
But she kind of just takes away from other emotions whenever she feels emotional.
Yeah, she like downplays their significance.
Like,
let's just get rid of that. She wishes things away. Oh, that's a bad memory. Let's just get rid of that.
But at the end of the movie, Joy thinks of something, and Envy is like, oh, I wish I had thought of that. And she's like, you did think of that. Oh, I'm jealous of myself. That the emotions are recognized as their own personal, unit.
So, do y'all know what the connection is between this show and the planets?
No.
So let me tell you. So you know how they make all the emotions little people? Like you have anger and sadness. Okay. So thousands of years ago, 2 millennia ago, instead of they thought of the emotions in the same way, but they considered them to be forces that acted on everyone. So instead of anger being in my head, anger was the god Mars. Martial, like martial arts, Mars. That's where that word comes from. And that's what made everybody want to fight and be angry. And so they saw like anger as a god. And then sadness, they saw as like a god, like the god Saturn, that had an influence over everybody. when you think about it that way, it kind of makes a little bit of sense how you would see it in this movie too.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So it's kind of a recapitulation of a really old idea of influences that are working on us that we don't get to choose. Somebody in the comments said, I lost all trust in Disney, so I'm not expecting to go watch this one. And I actually don't see that over here on this side for some reason. But, look how this is going either. But I want to make a comment on how people should watch movies. That we're not just watching them for entertainment. We're trying to see the message that somebody's trying to say and maybe learn from it.
And if you're watching and you don't think you should watch the movie too, I actually recommend the movie because it's very interesting and it's very cool. I think Disney actually, like the other movies like Elementals,
Yeah.
like the lesson was just kind of basic. This lesson is
More complex.
more complex, which is what it makes good.
So Jenny, how would you rate your first time seeing Inside Out versus when we watched it yesterday?
So the first time I watched Inside Out, I was like, colorful people, and they got lost. So, I can see them as like colorful people, and they get shot up in this tube, and they go near like the middle of the mind where all these memories are.
Mm-hmm.
And all I'm thinking is, it's a different world inside of a person
Mm-hmm.
that is messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's interesting.
So how's that compare with how you saw it yesterday?
So yesterday, I was thinking of it like usual, but I saw more meaning to each of the characters.
Okay.
Did you find points to relate to them? So what about Inside Out 2? Who wants to talk about their observations from that one first? I know Jenny's older and she's the female. You want to go first on what you thought about? No? You don't want to go first?
I don't want to go first.
Okay. I'm like,
You're stuck with it.
I really need to go first. But the funniest part of Inside Out 2, you know what it was? I think, in my opinion,
Humor is very subjective, so it's up to you.
the craziest part was like, you can't just bottle us up like that, Joy says, and it's like, oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, they put him in a jar. That was funny. So it's like compartmentalizing your emotions. Some people do that.
Yeah.
So
Like you only feel these emotions, and you're just like, you can't. I don't know.
So what was the big red light
I mean,
that they were trying to get rid of before everything started going haywire in the second movie?
It's because
puberty.
Puberty. The puberty alarm started going off. Right. And then who was the main new character that came into the head?
Anxiety. We want to make a great first impression, and then Joy's like, we.
So then what other characters are new to? So we already have Joy. What other characters? So what are the characters in the first one?
The first one's joy,
disgust,
anger,
fear, and sadness.
And anger.
Anger. And the second one, the new ones are anxiety, embarrassment, envy,
And boredom.
boredom. But wait,
Well, they use a weird word for boredom. Ennui.
wee.
Yeah. And they call her Wee Wee as a joke nickname.
Yeah. Wee.
Yeah.
They call him. No, wait. Actually, there's one more.
Nostalgia.
Oh,
Yeah. She tried to come up and they sent her back downstairs.
Because she was
I remember the time.
And you're like, no, you don't need to come out until after the second graduation and 2 babies are born.
In 10 years.
After 10 years of the graduation, after college, and after 15 years of career.
Okay.
Something like that.
So what y'all think about the anxiety thing? Were you able to relate to anxiety? You ever feel like that anxiety character
Yeah.
is
Sometimes.
inside your cabeza?
Wait. Anxiety.
Sometimes.
That's kind of what anxiety looks like.
It's still on there. That's funny.
They always say fear and anxiety would be good friends.
Right.
If you notice, they both have the same type of eyes too.
Everyone has the same type of eyes. I mean, they do bulge out of their heads.
I don't have anxiety on here too much. You just see the mouth a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on the movie cover, you can see how it just pops out.
Or
Kinda
kind of
like
like
fears.
ponytail thing.
Yeah.
Junior, can you do the anxiety haircut?
I
So-
don't want to.
So what about? Okay, did you find yourself? So you were hiding your head sometime during the movie.
Yeah, because it was just embarrassing. I felt like embarrassment, kind of. Just like, I don't know. It's just kind of.
Like, for example, imagine Shaun is a random child. I'm like, I love your hair.
Yeah. That'd be
No,
a little cringe moment.
Sometimes I put myself in the situation as Riley, just going up there. I'm just like, oh, Jesus.
Cringe.
It's like, hi, my name's Riley.
So now she is struck. She has new emotions. They are anxiety, embarrassment, envy, and ennui or boredom.
And then nostalgia's just kind of.
And so, what else is happening? What else is forming as she is getting older? Remember the little crystalline thing in the back?
Oh,
What do they call that?
personality. Her personality.
Okay. And
So her old
beliefs.
personality,
her belief system,
beliefs.
and they call it her sense of self.
But
What y'all think about that?
yes, but also
The only thing you would say
Okay,
is
I'm
I'm a good person.
I'm a good person.
Well, I'm a good person.
But also
I am nice. I am a good friend.
also something, as you can notice, joy is kind of controlling.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this sense of person though. Yeah, we can talk about the joy thing. That's a good point. I want to bring that up. So actually, let me write that down. Joy is controlling. Huh. So joy is controlling, but so this sense of self, I am nice, I am a good person, I am a good friend. Okay, those are like the three main things that I heard over and over for her formation of her personality. And how did those start to change when anxiety started reforming the personality?
So
She ripped out the other one and she threw it in the back of the mind.
And what were some of the statements?
I'm not good enough.
So I'm not good enough.
I
and-
need to be.
Right.
I need to have new friends to be better. I need to be better at hockey to make friends.
Yeah,
If I play hockey, I know I'll have friends.
right. So is hockey inside you or outside of you? Hockey's outside of you,
Yeah,
right? The hockey team is outside of you, right? So what I noticed is that the first few set of statements, I'm a good person, I'm nice, I'm a good friend, it all depended on what she was.
Yeah.
The second set of statements, the ones that depended on her were negative, like I'm not good enough. And then all the other ones depended on something outside. Like, if I'm a member of this hockey team, then I'll be liked. If I can make these people like me, then it'll be okay. I'll feel that kind of thing. If I can make the coach like me, if I can make this other hockey player like me, you know what I mean? It's all outside of
If I
herself.
can dye a strand of my hair red, then I'll be like everybody else and I'll be normal.
So it's all things outside the self. So you start identifying. So we actually have some developmental books over there. I'm not going to pull them out, but one is called Stages of Faith, which talks about this kind of identity development. It starts to happen in teenagers, anywhere from around 9 to 13 or so, somewhere around there, and a little older. You ever relate to that? Like, oh, I'll be okay if I join this church, or I'll be okay if I'm in this club. Because you relate to any of that? You ever feel that way about something?
Kind of.
I used to when I was younger, but I realized it was hurting me if I was doing that.
Oh, interesting. What helped you? What caused you to realize that?
Well, every time I would do something that would be related to someone else and not me, like doing the same thing as a new friend
Right.
that I did not like and I knew I didn't like, but I pretended to like it, it would hurt me.
So how did that hurt you? Just like, did it?
Like not telling the truth to them that I don't like it.
Oh. So what's it feel like when you're not telling the truth to somebody?
Horrible.
Oh,
So if I gave you a little, so when you tell if you tell the truth, does it make you feel strong or weak?
Well, I mean, no.
When you tell the truth,
Truth makes me feel strong.
and when
truth makes me feel worried. No, sometimes it makes me feel worried because if I tell the truth and it's someone that I don't know, and it's someone that's been told a bunch of rumors about me, that's been told lies, they won't believe me about the truth.
So you might have some kind of incentive to present a different version of things to somebody.
Yes.
Interesting.
I will tell the truth. It's their choice not to believe it though.
Okay. When you tell a lie, does that make you feel strong or weak?
Makes me feel nervous too.
Remember when we talked about
The brainstem.
integrity?
Yeah.
And we went outside and we looked at the driveway. Are you with us?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
okay.
just noticed a certain someone on the comments section.
Oh, you did. So let me ask you this. Remember when we'll read that in a second. So remember when we talked about integrity? Okay. And we went outside and we looked at the driveway, how the driveway has cracks in it.
Yeah.
And when we go over to the foundation, there's no cracks in it. Okay.
The foundation has integrity, but the cracks do not.
So if you remember in the movie when she's talking to the other friends, the new friends, and she starts lying about the kind of music she likes. Remember that?
She also
doesn't
lied
have
for where
integrity.
she came from.
She lied about where she came from
Minnesota.
instead of Michigan. Okay,
No.
Michigan instead of Minnesota. So what do you think is happening to her integrity as it's happening?
It is
Cracking.
It's cracking. So what about her?
Just like the when all the emotions were riding on that broccoli.
Right.
And that big crack in the floor came.
The sarcasm, which is hilarious play on words.
We're totally glad to see you.
So
Those guys are jerks.
what about her friends? Like, what were her name? Grace and what was the other friend's name?
Let's just call her Italy.
It was like Grace and Mia or something. I forget.
Let's just call her Italy.
Italy?
Italy, I don't know.
So how do you when she said she was going to play on their team and then wound up not playing on their team, how much do you think they felt like they could trust her?
Like a little bit.
Probably less, right? I would think so. Well, let's see what this person's saying.
Hello, Paula Bell. Interesting, the colorful characters reminded me.
Up here, she says, girl who had 5 emotional characters: joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust. Then she matured, and now she's experiencing emotional characters: anxiety, envy, nostalgia, ennui, and embarrassment. And nostalgia kept getting sent back.
Also,
Dan says, great insight from Shaun. Peer pressure and having to fit in. And then Palabel again says, interestingly, the colorful characters reminded me of the colors of the feelings wheel.
remember what Paula thought of
Have y'all ever seen the feelings wheel?
Never seen
Okay,
it before.
Paula, I know you're watching. Can you remember what you said about sadness in the first movie? You probably.
Anyway, there's like
Well, that
there's a
kinda
10 to
does.
20-second delay, so you can't exactly have a conversation with somebody in the chat section.
Kind of, I guess.
So she said the colors reminded her of the characters of the colors in the feelings wheel. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if there's any correlation there. But of course, those are just kind of
happy,
those are just kind of
angry.
Arbitrary. Yeah, you see angry is red there.
Angry is big.
Yeah.
Happy is yellow.
Happy is controlling.
So maybe we could think about that a little bit. So Joy was controlling in what way?
So let's okay. First movie. She was kind of the main person. She was running everything. She can. If Angry wanted to do it, she pushed him back.
Well, who's the main one she was trying to get rid of all the time?
Hmm?
In the first movie.
Sadness.
As Sadness.
Trying to put Sadness in a circle. She's like, your job is to stay right in here.
Or dig a 6 feet hole.
Yeah.
But
And force her to read manuals.
she just wanted only really her to be the main thing because she was the best emotion out of all.
I didn't really take it as Joy wanting for herself to be the main thing. I took it as she genuinely wanted Riley to be happy.
Yes,
And sadness was the opposite of happy.
but she has to let Riley be herself, and Riley can't come out with
4 emotions.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Riley can't. Riley's basically just like a robot if she doesn't feel anything but happiness.
So it seemed like she realized that what seemed like more negative emotions are actually needed for overall balance and stability. They actually have a role to play. It's like, oh, we need sadness to maintain our overall stability.
And
Some people, you ever heard of the phrase compartmentalize?
wait, what she did with sadness is she pushed her back and bottled her up, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Just like what happened to them in the next movie. You ever heard compartmentalize? That phrase?
No.
You know what a compartment is? Like the trunk is a compartment of the car, or the glove compartment. It's like a separate place to store something.
Mm-hmm.
And some people compartmentalize their emotions, and it can be done in a good and a bad way. If you do it temporarily to get through a task, it can be helpful. If you do it all the time, like for example, I know somebody who recently, one of my coworkers had a death in the family recently. So when they came back to work, they're having to compartmentalize. They're putting that sadness aside so that they can function at work. But you better believe, as soon as they're finished working, they probably actually go experience that sadness, maybe in a healthy way. And don't just always compartmentalize it. You need to experience the sadness for sad things. What other thoughts about that?
Well, also sadness. So, sadness was kind of being built up, and that's what happens when she just touches a memory, and then it kind of fades over. But whenever happiness and anger and fear touches a memory, it doesn't change.
Have you ever had a memory turn from happy to sad?
I have.
I don't know. I can't really remember.
How's that happen, Jay?
Well, when we were in the old house, and me and Shaun used to play a lot in our room. Like we would set tents up, we would do all kinds of stuff in our room.
Make a fort thingy of pillows and blankets.
We would make little islands and play the floor is lava. And we would have to go in circles.
Yeah.
And we'd have to gather a bunch of toys to win.
So that was a happy thing. And what you said, something turned it sad? What turned it sad?
When we moved away.
Oh yeah, so now you have a memory. That's nostalgia.
Yeah, we went from what was that?
In New Orleans?
No, what was Riley's thing?
They were moving from Minnesota to San Francisco.
Basically that, but very short distance.
Yeah, real similar. So you had a major life change, and then you missed the way that it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
45 minutes away from like a big
Or-
Super Bowl stadium thing.
But sometimes what happens is you might have a really good friend and you have a lot of good memories together, and then they do something terrible to you. They betray you, they stab you in the back, they steal something, and then all of a sudden, all those what you thought were fun memories suddenly become sad memories or maybe even angry memories.
Well, I've had a couple friends that have
I kn-
liked me.
Actually, I noticed something.
So it's almost like sadness is in your head handling those memories.
I noticed something. I didn't notice any memories that were purple, like fear,
Hmm.
in the movie. Like I'll see red,
I think
blue.
I have a guess. Why do you think that is?
Maybe because she doesn't watch. She needs to watch more scary movies. I'm just kidding.
I think fear is usually of the unknown. But by the time something is a memory, it's no longer something to cause you fear now.
Unless it's somebody being like,
Unless
we're
it's-
gonna go to this house at this time,
Right,
and we're gonna
right.
rob them with a gun.
And also in the belief system, whenever you see, she only brings the memories with joy down there to make
Right,
new
right.
beliefs,
Right.
as well as anxiety, only bringing memories down there that have anxiety in them.
So here's what I remember as a teenager when I would experience negative emotions. At the time that I was experiencing the negative emotions, it seemed like that was the only emotion that ever was anytime ever. You ever feel that way? Like you can't imagine, like when you're really anxious and upset or angry or sad, you can't imagine being happy. Like there's no reason to be happy ever. It's like it's like sadness is the only thing, or anxiety is the only thing. You ever feel that way? Like it's so strong, it feels like the only thing. I remember feeling that way a lot in my life. So I noticed something when she got sent to the penalty box during the camp, not during the first game that they showed. Remember when she got sent in the penalty box? And her heart's beating real fast. What do you call that?
Stress.
Kind of.
Anxiety.
Okay. Yeah, she was having an anxiety attack.
Oh.
It's called anxiety attacks. When there's so much anxiety, there's so much going around. That's how they depicted that.
And her belief system and her personality was built with only anxiety memories.
Right.
I'm not good enough.
So
That's what she said.
as she's coming, I noticed something happen. As she's coming out of her anxiety attack, did you notice something that she did?
Who did?
Riley.
She started breathing slower, and she started breathing in and out calmly.
Okay, she controlled her breathing. You know what else she did?
She apologized to her
Well,
friend.
before that, she's still in the penalty box. Let me just tell you what I noticed. I noticed her hand touch the wall on the side of the penalty box. And it showed it very detailed. It showed, you could see all the little nicks in the wood and everything because it had been there. Her hand touched the wall. And it showed it very gently. She reached out and touched the wall. And they left the camera, I don't know if you can say camera for a cartoon on it for a few minutes. It stood out.
The scene.
What is that? What was going on there?
She needed someone to hold her, or
She was just kind of like.
Y'all know what that's called? There's a coping mechanism. It's not really coping, but it's called something.
I don't know what it's called.
This is called a grounding exercise. Okay. So what she did is she put her hand on something physical around her, and this could be. You might do this with your feet, and you just feel the floor, especially if you're barefooted. You feel the floor underneath you, or the grass underneath you, or you put your hand on a table. Sit up so I can still see Jenaveve. Put your hand on a table so you can just feel where you are. Like, where am I? Here's this chair. Like, so stop thinking about all the things you're worried about. You know what we were talking about yesterday, all the things like, oh, I gotta do the laundry, I gotta do this for work, the pool's gonna turn green if I don't brush it. Just stop thinking about all that and just think about what is right here. What is right around me? This chair is right here, the air is around me, this coffee is right here, here's how my shirt feels, here's
We're
how
being filmed.
Carbon dioxide.
just all the things that are like just simple, just ground yourself in the present moment. They say the people who can be most grounded in the present moment and live in the present moment tend to be the most stable and joyful. So it's helpful to pull your mind away from all the things that are worrying you and just think about what's right here and right now. Where am I? I'm in this room. I'm touching this chair. I'm okay. Here's what my clothes feel
There's
like.
people right next to me.
Someone also suggested hyperventilating in the comments for
Alright, that's
Oh,
not
they
really
said, well, yeah, I think they were
Issue was-
describing an anxiety attack.
good wording.
Dan says centering yourself. So that's a good thing to do. Brian is mentioning hyperventilating. Anxiety and fear are so related, Palabel says.
Yes,
that's
they are.
kind of true because fear's like, well, actually, anxiety would have all of this planned out.
So
Remember in the beginning when anxiety had all these future plans
mhm,
and would plan all these horrible outcomes, and then fear was like, "You and me are gonna be friends."
yeah.
Because they
You
both
and me are gonna
do,
be friends.
they both do that. Like fear would plan all these outcomes, like that you would be called on by the teacher. Like that would be a future thing in the first movie.
Mhm,
And anxiety does the same thing, but with future outcomes, with friends and other stuff.
We're missing one emotion on that chart.
So it's kind of like it's out of control. Like anxiety is a little much. You ever feel anxiety in your body?
Yeah, I'm just kind of like,
You ever locate it? Like, where's your anxiety? Where do you feel your anxiety? Oh,
Yeah.
I feel it in my ribs, my rib cage right here.
just like goes.
There's actually meditation exercises. So that having the little thing in your head, all the little people in your head, that's real similar to a therapy technique called internal family systems therapy, or internal family systems therapy, where you basically personify different things in your body and you give them a character. And I'm not going to get into that right now. But I'm going to talk about this idea of Riley, the way Riley felt about herself. I'm a good person. I'm a good friend. You ever notice in Christianity sometimes, like at church, they will talk about how sinful and wicked you are, and you're supposed to think about how sinful and wicked you are? I was thinking while we were watching that, I'm like, oh man, the fundamentalist Christians are going to have a heyday with this.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, are the emotions Riley? Just think about it.
That's a great question.
Are
What-
the emotions
What do
Riley?
you think my answer would be?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
No. The answer would be no. It's
Yes.
That's another meditation technique, is where
But-
you identify all the things that aren't you. Like, I am not my fear.
But
I am not my anger.
my brain is not me. My brain is not the thing that.
Your brain is just hardware.
But the emotions are what controls her brain.
Well, the depiction is, the movie is an analogy.
The emotions have
And analogies break down.
the emotions are somehow born knowing how to speak English, which
Mhm.
is kind of weird. And they're it's just think about it. The emotions are what controls Riley. They're what makes the decisions for Riley. And Riley is only herself whenever the emotions adapt her sense of self
Mhm.
to her.
Mhm.
The emotions are her sense of self.
Mhm.
There's no
Okay.
sense of self. It's just her past emotions speaking.
Interesting. So what is the self?
Self is her past memories, and her beliefs that past memories have sprouted.
It's interesting. It's very interesting.
It's almost like instead of long-term memory, maybe all long-term memory should go into beliefs. Like whenever all of the back of the mind, like things to forget, came in and made her sense of self.
Mm-hmm.
But those were just things we wanted to forget about, right?
That's the things that Joy wanted to forget about. Joy would take all those negative memories, and she developed a device that just chunked them all the way to the back of the brain where they'd be forgotten.
Everyone else would do that too. They would gather. Joy.
Yeah, they started doing those same things.
You know what's kind of funny? Anxiety just showed up.
I wanted to hear what she was saying, and then I want to. What were you saying though? Other people would do that too?
Like, Joy would be like, okay, everybody pick a memory you hate the most and put it in the chunk box.
Yeah, and they were getting rid of those. So it's probably not a good idea to get rid of those.
So, really is, she's learning from her past mistakes, because learning from those would also build yourself up.
Yeah. It reminds me of Captain Kirk in Star Trek V. I need my pain. It's what makes us who we are.
But anxiety just showed up and automatically knew where that chute was.
Yeah.
Just think about that. How did she know that if she was already there?
Well,
You know
yeah.
how she
I guess
kills
they
it?
all have access to the same memories. Yeah.
You know how she just shows up and she pulls out that little laptop thing with the cameras and sees everybody?
That's the breakdown of the analogy of like, okay, if these are little people, do they learn? They apparently have a way to learn and know things, unlike how we learn and know things.
Yeah, but like but her little laptop thing. What if?
I was using that as a cup holder.
What if she can see everything that was happening in the mind? What if anxiety was always there, and they have anxiety in them? It's just they're not showing it.
Oh, it's not manifest yet.
Yeah, it's not pulled out to its full potential until she shows up and starts kicking butt, the emotions out of there.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Just like that old emotion, like that, I forgot her name, but that Grammy emotion.
Nostalgia?
Yeah. She would come in like, remember the time?
So, I was just going to say something.
It's kind of reminding me of, so what if the whole entire brain knows about these emotions and knows about everything going on in it? Like, in the first movie, I noticed that Anger was reading newspapers about what was actually going on. Like, for example, the first time when he got angry, like for example at the dinner table, and he said, "No dessert," he was reading a newspaper that said, "No dessert." And when the other time he got angry, what was that other time when he got angry?
I forgot.
I remember
Every
him reading
time.
something. Yeah, I remember looking at the headlines of what Anger was reading, and it would pertain to whatever was going on situationally.
Oh, it would be, but there would be a newspaper named Bus Stops back there on the couch, and he'd be like, "These are my kind of people."
Oh yeah, because they were angry in the traffic. Yep, that was kind of funny. So I had a thought, and then it left me because I'm a good listener, and I was listening to what you were saying about the people and the emotions in the head. But maybe it'll come back to me. So I want to
like
see
that people
what.
in the head are individual people, but they think.
Well, it's an analogy. You see, I mean, the movie is an analogy, and they're trying to. So what happens is you get older, the prefrontal cortex doesn't fully develop till you're like 25.
Yeah.
So as you become a teenager, as you start to grow, and they also call the prefrontal cortex the executive functions of the brain. So as you're younger, it's when the emotions happen, they happen and they're kind of in control, like a toddler can't control himself, right? You tired, Jenaveve?
I am.
Go to bed. We will talk. I'm just kidding.
So
Wow.
the emotions come in control, but as you get older, you have the executive function appears and starts to be like you are in control of all the emotions. So all the emotions inform you, but they're no longer in control. Does that make sense? So like, oh, I know I feel angry, but I don't have to act on it. I don't have to take out a sledgehammer and,
You don't have
hit
to.
Nancy Kerrigan in the kneecaps.
You don't have to sling your arms everywhere like a 3-year-old.
Right. So as you're younger, the emotions kind of are in control. So maybe when they do the next sequel, there will be like an executive function that comes out and is in control of the emotions.
And then wait. Okay. You know the big dark secret in the secret thing?
Yeah, I think that's going to be part 3.
I think that's going to be an emotion. I think secrets are going to be like an emotion thing. Kind of.
That's it. Well, the secret is information. It's going to be a memory.
No.
Okay, so the secret,
no.
there was a vault called Secrets, and there was a big dark secret that
Yeah.
Riley had.
Yeah, it's big.
And it
yeah.
would always stay in the vault.
Right, and he didn't want to come out. I think that's going to be in part 3, and I'm afraid they're going to use that to pander to some kind of woke agenda, but we'll see.
I want to know what the big secret is
I do
so
too.
bad.
So I think that's coming out in part. I thought they would bring that out toward the end of the movie. So I want to jog your memory with something else. Remember when we were watching Alone? Because we've been watching Alone lately.
Yeah.
In case y'all don't know what Alone is, they put these people out in
Wilderness.
Patagonia is the season we're on,
And then
and
they just.
they have to survive. There's no camera crew. There's nothing else. They have just them and nothing else. So then, pay attention. I told you about this. So when one of the guys was having mood swings, they said when you have low serotonin, you tend to have mood swings, almost like a bipolar person. Highs and lows, very happy, just because of a chemical that's different in your body. So how educated are we on how much serotonin is affecting us, how much cortisol is affecting us? You realize that?
You're listing things that I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, they're hormones or chemicals that your body produces, and these chemicals can actually, like if you think of anger and sadness and joy, they can actually make like serotonin. If you have a lot of serotonin, you can have it'll feel like joyful. You'll feel happy and excited, wonderful. If you have low serotonin, you'll feel defeated and sad, maybe fearful. Just these chemicals can make you feel that way. And I don't think a lot of people don't realize how many different factors are influencing us that we don't realize and we do have some control over it, I think, if we know about it, but a lot of people just have no idea, no control. One comment I want to look at that we did. Okay, so hope and healing in Jesus. Maybe let's look at this one first because they sent 2. That's maybe how the professionals try to say that's what's happening to a person as a growing period season. Yeah, why not allow the child to learn to think for themselves with good, healthy guidance? It's probably a good recommendation.
Put me on the show alone.
Huh?
That's what you can do.
Try to help you think for yourself?
Yeah.
So Hope and Healing in Jesus says, I am 48 now, but love the memories of making dens and tents inside house and outdoors. Ah, beloved, whatever age, don't let people get you down. If they let you down, Jesus bless. Anxiety and fear are so related. We already solved that one. We have a super chat from Caleb. It's good to see you again, Caleb. Just finished watching part 2 with the family moments ago. Very interested in hearing your perspectives. So thanks for chiming in. It's Brat, what you're doing here.
Oh,
What's
you meant
that
to say
mean?
great.
Oh, I meant to say green. No, Brat's. Sorry.
I love your
I'm a
correction.
brat!
Well,
Get him!
I thought they were talking about you, Shaun.
I mean, that could be true.
I get an impression that the young lady would benefit from being listened to. Thanks for giving her space. She has intelligence. Jesus bless her. Listen to her. Yeah, that's how I'm constantly trying to shut down Shaun so I can hear what Genevieve has to say.
Yeah, he's a loud talker.
We have a super chat from CC. Thanks for that. She says appreciate Kevin. I don't know if this is a he or she. I'm just saying
so
she.
confused.
Shaun is exceptionally precocious, and Jay is a bit more reserved. She's exceptional with her emotions and works hard to express herself.
But I'm gonna copy Jeffrey for you.
How to? How fun to see your kids. I've listened to so many hours of your amazing work, but seeing you as a dad is so sweet. Different side of you. Keep up the great work. Hi, Paula. That's pretty funny. I need to look up precocious. Sorry, I'm very tired, but appreciate Jay so much. I can realize yet don't want to negate Shaun as his own unique person. God bless you and them.
Join the club. I'm tired.
How'd you know we call Genevieve J? That's one thing. How'd you know we call Genevieve J all the time?
Because you called me Jay earlier.
We called her Jay. I did a couple times.
Oh.
So, all right. So, what are the thoughts about the movie? Would you recommend it?
I would recommend it to 85% of the people out there.
Why 85?
Some people are haters.
Why not the 15?
Because some people like just to hate on Disney just to hate on Disney.
That makes sense. And I think that I'm just going to talk over you because I'm the dad and I can do that.
Dad!
No, I think that this movie is a great tool for anybody from parents to teachers to therapists or whoever to, if you've seen the movies, to kind of relate situations to them. If you're going through a hard time at school, have a hard time at home, or whatever, or going through something, you can make a connection back to a point in the movie and say, remember what's going on there? And that can be a touch point for people to help them overcome it.
I remember this thing when Riley came back from the thing and she got violation.
Yeah, sure. So she's in the game and she got
not the first time, but she came back from doing the laps because she was laughing with her friends. Those new girls were talking bad about her.
Mm-hmm.
And anxiety took over and was like, oh my gosh, they're thinking this about us. We have to do something to make them like us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you need to do anything to make people like you?
Nope. Just be yourself.
Be yourself. Don't make people dislike you. Don't be obnoxious. But
as long as you are yourself,
don't be authentic.
Your true self,
mm-hmm.
Then I think you're good.
There you go. We're good there. Do you remember the thought you were saying a few minutes ago before we stopped and got on to a different topic? I think I interrupted you saying something. I guess we'll go on to final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Oh no, but
do you have any final thoughts on the show?
Anxiety is just an adapted version of fear that likes to plan for the future. I really think, because nothing really had one better thing that would be more interesting of a plot is that if instead of new emotions, since Riley's growing and new things are happening, what if the emotions grew with her and new things are happening to them too?
So you might enjoy reading about the homunculus theory.
Homunculus?
So the idea is that you're a person and that the hypothalamus has a little man inside there that's also experiencing things, and they call that the homunculus, like a little man.
Well, what's
little man? Yeah, but what's inside the little man? So it's like
little man.
It's the stack of turtles. So if the turtle is holding up the earth, what's holding up the turtle? Well, there's another turtle holding that one up, and then it's an endless regress is what they call that. Are you rolling a window down or something like that?
Endless loop.
Endless loop. Genevieve, any final thoughts on the movie? Let's pay attention to what she's saying.
In the end of the movie, since it's final, I see how when anxiety comes up, they always try to put her down and relax her. Like in Riley's mind, they had a relaxing chair with some anxiety.
Right, anxiety. That was a clever pun.
And they would let her relax and chill because all she is like a different version of fear.
Hmm.
But
Like fear on steroids.
and when they zoom,
Or maybe fear on cocaine. Yeah.
I'm fear on steroids.
All right, let's pay attention to Genevieve.
so when
Not that much.
in Riley's parents, anxiety in their minds would come out and they'd be like, well, welcome back, anxiety.
Then the dad's mind was just kind of like, hey, let's watch some hockey.
And then his anxiety would be like, oh, hello, how are you doing today?
So, like, one of the takeaways there is that even though some of the emotions are negative, they still play a role and they're still needed. You can't just get rid of them.
Like in the first movie, when Joy tried to get rid of sadness.
Right.
We need sadness. Can't just be happy.
So there may be a time to compartmentalize.
Oh, I just thought of something.
Oh, yes.
So when Joy was trying to get back to the tower, Bing Bong, Riley's imaginary friend,
Yeah.
Sadness had a moment with him because his rocket ran into the dump.
Right.
So they cried for a little bit and they had a little
Mhm.
emotional moment. And after he cried, he felt happy again.
Mhm.
So that's a balance.
Right. And then Joy noticed that. Like, oh, they're actually better after they let sadness do its thing for a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought about having for people who have sadness in their life, I thought about people having a dedicated place where you can go be sad. Like maybe a cork board that has doors over it that you can open up. And maybe you can go in there and look at the pets that you've lost, the relationships you don't have, the times you messed up, and just be sad for a few minutes, have a good cry, play some sad music, and then close it and go back to normal life.
They'd just
You
be
know?
like depression mode.
Well, you have to feel. You have to let your feelings come through, because it's a lot of people don't realize. They think that's this touchy-feely thing, but cognition is embodied, and the way we think, it happens in our bodies, and our bodies feel things, and all those feelings are signals that we have to learn how to interpret. So we can't shut the feelings down. We have to learn how to communicate with them, how to calibrate them.
With your idea... Oh, sorry, Shani.
No.
Go ahead and finish your thought, Jay.
So with your idea of like having a place where like all the bad things have gone on, it's like you're holding on to them instead of just letting them go.
Right. So it might not be for everybody. Maybe it's not a good idea.
Well, if you're holding on to something, like for example, if you were dating someone who you really liked, but then turns out they were playing on you the whole time, and you just keep on holding on to that, it's not going to be good.
So I have a little mental place where I do this. It's like my brother has passed away. My grandparents have passed away. My good friend Shaun Brown has passed away. Sergeant Parsley, who was my good friend when I was deployed, has passed away. Sergeant Brown has passed away. There are a lot of people in my life who I liked and appreciated and worked with who just aren't there anymore. There are lots of great memories that come up, and those people, they're just not there. And it's very sad. And so sometimes it's not like we broke up or had a falling out, it's just that they have died. And so sometimes I'll take a few moments and remember them. Or when that song, Here's to the Ones, when that comes on, sometimes I'll just take a moment and think of all those people while that song plays.
One more final thought. I saw this theory on YouTube about Inside Out, which was weirdly right after we just finished Inside Out 2.
Okay.
And so, you know how the mom's main emotion is sadness,
Okay. Yeah, she's sitting in the middle of the console.
and dad's main emotion is the anger. Like he's sitting in the middle, and he's looking out there.
Uh-huh.
So he had this theory that the dad has anger issues and yells a lot to the mom, and then the mom gets sad and cries, and that's why her main emotion is sadness because she gets sad a lot, and the dad has anger issues.
Could be. Well,
Just a fun little.
I also think of the big 5 personality traits like openness, conscientiousness, the willingness to wanting to do right all the time, extroversion, either the degree to which you want to be outspoken in the life of the party and talk to people versus the degree to want you to keep to yourself, agreeableness, how much you tend to agree and disagree with things, and then neuroticism, which is negative emotions. So women tend to be statistically, not every woman, women are statistically higher in neuroticism than men, which would make sense that sadness would have a seat at the middle of the table. And men tend to be higher in disagreeableness than women, which is why most people who go to jail between ages 16 and 24 are men, because they're higher in disagreement. Now, you'll find women who are not very neurotic at all, and you'll find men who are very agreeable, and vice versa. But generally, if you look at it like a bell curve, something like that, there are these trends. So it would make sense that the disagreeableness of the male might have a seat at the table while the male is a younger man. And then sadness would have the center seat at the table because women tend to be more highly neurotic than men typically, basically. So, yeah, but that is an interesting concept. The thing that I would want to tie on to the end is to encourage people when you watch movies or read books, the way we tend to literature is to look for truths that we can learn and pull and glean from the stories that are being told. Don't just evaluate a show based on whether or not you were entertained or liked it or enjoyed it. Is there something to learn there? Is somebody trying to convey a message, and is there something to learn from that message that you can use? I think that's I think everyone should incorporate that into how they attend to literature and movies. Any final thoughts?
I think we said them. Genevieve? Genevieve?
We're good.
You're good?
Genevieve, any
Hold
final
on.
thoughts?
Hands off.
Dad, any
What?
final thoughts?
Well, let's look and see what the chat folks say. Dan says, what Kevin expressed, the memories people leave with us is like the humanist view. I'm not sure exactly what Dan is saying there.
I recommend.
I recommend I Kill Giants. I guess that's
Hope and
either a
healing
movie
in
or
You kill my
Jesus.
dad?
You see that one right
this
there?
one here.
Like the top one.
This
below.
one?
Yeah, right there. And down.
Bless your whole family. So cool to do this online. I'm in England and appreciate your points of views and take good care of each other. God bless. Well, we appreciate you too.
We appreciate you too.
Sorry if I misjudged anything. No, I didn't pick
No
up on any
misjudgment.
misjudgment. Just a
You
little back and
exact.
forth conversation. You need to let it out. Learn to
Master.
master control can be difficult. Mind and body, holistic, everything together. Megan Devine is so amazing at dealing with grief. I think they're recommending somebody else who has content on dealing with grief.
We can talk about grief later in a different video.
That would be interesting. I could see a bit of a balance difference. You're free to find your way. Loving kindness to your way. So, thanks to everybody who chatted with us. Thanks for the super chats as well. Thanks to Shaun and Jenaveve for joining me today. Thank you guys for joining me and having this chat. We have these kinds of chats anyway, but I figured we would put this online for a couple of reasons. To give you guys a peek into kind of the conversations that we have, and also to maybe provoke some thought about how to watch movies and maybe some way we can learn from them. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I kind of forgot we were talking about Inside Out at the end of the video.
Yeah. Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
we're talking about. I didn't.
All right. So thanks for watching. May the Lord bless you, and good day.
Hey, hey.